The fog moved slowly through the forest of Revel 9, wrapping the tall trees like soft blue smoke. Strange lights flickered between the branches, and every step on the wet ground made a quiet crunch. The morning sun tried to enter the forest, but the mist swallowed most of it. The whole place felt cold, silent, and waiting. That silence broke when a squad of Galactic Union soldiers walked in. There were 6 of them, tall, armored, and confident. Their armor plates glowed with thin green lines, and their helmets scanned everything around them. They were trained, elite, and proud. They believed they were the strongest soldiers in the entire galaxy, and they believed humans were nothing. The group reached a small clearing where a human drop pod had crashed the night before. Metal pieces were scattered across the ground. Some pieces still smoked. They looked around until one of the soldiers kicked something lying near a broken log. It was a simple, dusty Earth-made rifle. The alien soldier laughed, a deep metallic sound from inside his helmet. "Look at this old thing," he said. "Humans really used weapons like this? No energy core, no plasma cell, nothing." Another soldier picked up the rifle, holding it with 2 fingers like it was trash. "How did humans ever win battles with toys like this?" he mocked. "You could break this with one hand." Their commander, a tall alien with dark red armor, stepped forward. He tapped the rifle barrel with his claw. "This is why the Union took control of Earth so easily," he said. "Humans rely on old tools. Weak tools." They all laughed, but the forest did not laugh with them. It stayed silent, too silent. One soldier suddenly frowned and checked his scanner. "I'm picking up movement," he said. "An animal, maybe," another replied. "This planet has big creatures." "No, this signal is small. Very small, but fast." The commander waved his hand. "Ignore it. The human pilot is probably dead already." A thin ray of sunlight broke through the fog and touched the side of his helmet. In that beam of light, if someone looked very closely, they might have seen another shape hiding far behind the bushes. Still, low, almost invisible. A human. An old one. He wore a ghillie suit made of moss-colored threads and forest leaves. The suit blended perfectly with the ground and plants around him. Only his eyes were visible, calm, sharp, and waiting. His breathing was slow, steady, controlled. His name was Reynold. He watched the alien squad as they continued to joke about the old rifle. The one they held was a decoy, something he had dropped on purpose while escaping the crash. Something to distract them. Reynold whispered softly to himself, his voice barely a breath. "If they mock the old rifle, wait till they meet the Cadex." The aliens continued laughing. One soldier lifted the rifle and tried to bend the barrel. "Look, it is so thin," he said. "How do humans fight the Zero's war with these sticks?" Reynold's eyes narrowed. He slowly lifted the weapon resting against his shoulder, an upgraded Cadex CDX-50 tremor. It was large, heavy, silent, and designed for one purpose, to punch through armor. The forest stayed perfectly still as he lined up the shot. There was no excitement in his face, no fear, only focus. Inside the alien group, one soldier suddenly stopped laughing. His helmet's sensors beeped. "Commander," he said, "I am detecting a sound. Very faint. Like..." He never finished his sentence. A deep, low sound cut through the air. It was not loud, but it was powerful, like distant thunder wrapped in silence. PFFF thump. The soldier fell backward, armor cracked open with a single round through his chest. The old rifle dropped beside him. The squad froze. Shock hit all of them at once. What was that? Where did it come from? Show direction. Show direction. Their scanners blinked, flashed, struggled. The commander shouted, "Find a shooter. Humans do not have weapons strong enough for..." Another quiet thunder rolled through the trees. PFFF thump. A second alien fell. A single shot. Clean. Precise. Now true fear entered their voices. "It's not plasma. It's kinetic. No human should shoot that far. How is he hiding from our scanners?" The commander raised his arm and yelled, "Defensive formation. Spread out. Now." But it was already too late. The forest belonged to Reynold. He moved silently between trees, using the fog as a shield. Every step was slow and careful. He knew the alien armor. He knew their sensors. He knew their weaknesses. And he knew how to stay invisible. The squad tried to activate drones, tried to scan the trees, tried everything. Reynold waited. He breathed out. The Cadex roared again. PFFF thump. The third alien dropped to the ground. The commander growled in panic. This cannot be one human. This must be a sniper drone. One soldier whispered, trembling, maybe humans are not as weak as we thought. Reynold heard that through his small audio receiver. He almost smiled. Almost. He shifted positions again, crawling low through the moss and ferns until he reached another vantage point. He adjusted his sights. The aliens were now clumped together, scanning wildly in every direction. They were afraid of a single old man. Reynold whispered again, "You shouldn't have touched the rifle." He fired. PFFF thump. The fourth alien fell. The commander shouted for retreat, but his voice trembled. The forest felt smaller now, darker, like it was closing around them. Reynold stayed hidden, silent, unseen. The Cadex CDX-50 rested calmly in his hands, ready for the next shot. And the Galactic soldiers finally understood. They had not walked into a forest. They had walked into a hunt. The forest of Revel 9 grew quiet again, but this silence felt different. Not peaceful, not calm. It felt like the pause between storms. The remaining alien soldiers crouched behind thick roots and glowing plants, their armor pulsing with warning lights. Their hearts raced. Their hands trembled. Their scanners tried again and again to locate the shooter, but all they saw were trees, fog, and small heat signatures from forest animals. The commander activated his helmet comms. "Union base, come in. We are under attack. Hostile sniper." Only static answered. He hit the side of his helmet in frustration. Why is the signal dead? One soldier swallowed hard. "Commander, I think our comms pack was destroyed. Something hit it." The commander froze. He understood the meaning immediately. Whoever was shooting at them wasn't guessing. He was choosing targets. Important targets. Weak points. Communication lines. A professional. The commander looked at the ground where the last shot landed. The soil around the impact was pushed down like something massive had hit it. "Commander," another soldier said softly, "that shot, it was too clean, too strong. Not human technology." The commander whispered, "No, it is human. That is the problem." Reynold's memory. Far away, deep inside the forest, Reynold knelt beneath giant ferns. He checked the action of his Cadex CDX-50, wiped the mist from the scope, and listened to the quiet breathing of the woods. His movements were slow and practiced, almost like a ritual he had done many times before. As he worked, his mind drifted back to Earth, years before the Galactic Union arrived. Reynold had once been known across Earth's military circles as the Old Mountain Shooter, a man who could hit a target through fog, wind, and miles of distance. A man who trained younger soldiers with patience and harsh truth. A man who saw too many wars and wanted none. He lived alone in a quiet cabin after retiring, high among snowy peaks. He spent his days hunting, repairing old rifles, and watching sunsets. He told himself he was done with fighting. But peace never lasts long. The Galactic Union came the same way they always came to weaker planets, smiling, offering protection, offering unity. But their protection meant control. Their unity meant silence. And their rules meant disarming Earth. Reynold remembered the first time he heard their message broadcast. "Humans will grow stronger under our guidance. Your old weapons will be destroyed. You will not need them anymore." He remembered throwing a cup of coffee at the radio. Humans still needed their own strength, their own skills, their own freedom. That was the day he joined Free Earth, a quiet resistance spreading across different planets and stations. They did not start wars. They only prepared for the day one might come. And now that day had arrived on Revel 9. Back to the forest. Reynold pushed forward, crawling through thick green moss. The smell of wet earth filled the air. The cold mist touched his face like a warning. He moved slow, patient, like a shadow learning to breathe. He knew the alien squad would change tactics soon. They were frightened, but they were not foolish. They were trained soldiers. Their fear made them dangerous. He shifted positions again, climbing a low ridge covered in wide leaves. From the top, he could see the glow of alien armor deeper in the fog. Their formation had changed. Smart, Reynold whispered. They were spreading out again, this time more carefully, more quietly, staying behind rocks and heavy trunks. But they were too late. Their fear had already given him control of the battlefield. Reynold placed the Cadex on a moss-covered log and looked through the scope. The aliens moved like nervous animals now, flinching at every sound, jumping at shadows. Their commander tried to keep order, waving his arm, giving hand signals. Reynold watched him for a long moment. He didn't shoot. Not yet. He wanted to see how they reacted. One soldier crouched beside a glowing fungus patch, trying to scan forward. "Commander, I see multiple heat signatures to the west." Reynold smiled softly. He had left a cluster of small heat stone pebbles there. "Old trick. Simple trick. Effective trick," the commander replied. "Ignore false signatures. Focus. The human cannot hide forever." Reynold whispered, "That is where you are wrong." Reynold's advantage. Humans had weaknesses, Reynold knew this well. But humans also had instincts. Old instincts. Humans were survivors. Hunters. Thinkers. The alien soldiers had better armor, better scanners, better tech. But Reynold had patience. Patience wins more battles than weapons. He watched the commander again, just for a second. The alien's red armor glowed faintly. A thin layer of energy shimmered around him, a personal shield. The Cadex could break it, but he needed the right moment. He waited. The forest wind shifted slightly, blowing fog sideways. A window of clear sight opened between the trees, just for 2 seconds. Reynold took the shot. PFFF thump. The commander's shield sparked. It didn't break completely, but it flickered hard enough to scare everyone in the clearing. "Shields hit," one soldier shouted. "He is targeting command," another yelled. The commander shouted, panicked. "Retreat 5 meters. Form a triangle. Activate emergency sensors." They scrambled like frightened birds. Reynold stayed low, crawling backward, leaving no visible trail. He moved around a fallen tree, watching them through branches. The aliens desperately scanned the forest with new devices, releasing floating sphere drones that glowed red. Reynold sighed. They finally brought out the good toys. He pulled out a small EMP stick from his belt, a simple human-made tool. Nothing high-tech, just smart. He tossed it quietly into the air. 3 seconds later, BZZT crack. The red scanning drones fell like dead fireflies. The aliens gasped. No. He is disabling our tech. How is he doing this? Is he alone? He cannot be alone. But he was alone. Just one old human. And the forest seemed to fight on his side. Reynold reloaded the Cadex smoothly, his hand steady. He whispered to himself, "Round 2, and the hunt continued. The morning fog of Revel. 9 grew thinner as the sun climbed higher, sending soft beams of light through the tall trees. But even with sunlight, nothing felt safe. Not for the remaining Galactic soldiers. 4 of them stayed low behind giant roots, breathing fast, eyes scanning in every direction. Their armor, once bright and proud, now looked dim and anxious. The forest had become a battlefield they did not understand. And somewhere inside that mist, the old human waited. The commander's voice shook as he whispered through his helmet, "Stay quiet. Stay sharp. The human sniper is still close." One soldier whispered back, "How is he hiding? Our sensors should see him." The commander gritted his teeth. "We were trained for war against advanced machines, not a human ghost." Reynold watches. Reynold lay flat on a cliff-like rock shelf, hidden behind thick bushes. He had moved nearly 50 meters since the last shot. His ghillie suit was now covered with damp leaves and small insects that crawled over him. But he didn't flinch. Patience. Stillness. No panic. No rush. He breathed slowly as he studied the aliens through his scope. They were shaken. Their formation was broken. Their commander's shield was weakened. They were using helmets, drones, and scanners to search for him. But they still didn't know where he truly was. Reynold knew he only had a few minutes before the aliens changed tactics again. They would call for air support or reinforcements soon, if they could repair their comms. He couldn't let that happen. He adjusted the Cadex CDX-50 on a moss-covered rock and lined up his shot on the alien carrying the emergency comms repair kit, the one kneeling beside a fallen tree, connecting wires. Reynold exhaled. PFFF thump. The alien jerked backward, toolkit falling from his hands. Sparks flew from the broken wires. The commander shouted, "Down, down. He is above us. On the ridge." Reynold whispered softly, "Wrong direction." He had already crawled away. Panic in the ranks. The soldier closest to the fallen comms unit crawled over. "Commander, this repair kit is gone. We cannot fix the signal now." The commander pressed his claws together in frustration. "We are blind and hunted." Another soldier scanned the ridge. "I do not understand. Humans are slow. Humans are loud. Humans. Do not underestimate him," the commander barked. "He is not a normal human." "But he is old," the soldier argued, voice trembling. "Our data says humans weaken with age." The commander laughed softly, bitterly. "Maybe their bodies weaken, but their minds grow sharper." A chill ran through the group. The drift of the forest. Reynold made his way downslope again, moving like the forest itself, slow, natural, blending into everything. He stopped when he reached a cluster of purple plants with thick stems. They released tiny spores that made the air shimmer. To the aliens, it would look like heat distortion. To Reynold, it was perfect cover. He rested the Cadex between two roots and watched the aliens through his scope. They were tighter now, back to back, shields activated. Their armor glow flickered nervously. One soldier stared too long into the fog and whispered, "Commander, do you think he is human?" Reynold smiled. He aimed at the soldier's energy shield generator on his back, not at the soldier. He didn't want a kill shot this time. He wanted chaos. The Cadex fired. PFFF crack. The shield generator exploded like a small sunburst, sending a wave of blue light across the trees. The soldier screamed, falling forward. His shield collapsed instantly. The others panicked. "He broke the shield. He broke the shield. Shut up and spread out," the commander yelled. But they didn't spread out. They froze. And that was exactly what Reynold wanted. The Cadex speaks again. Reynold whispered to himself. 3 more. He rotated the rifle, sighting another target. Another soldier. This one held a heavy plasma rifle, a powerful weapon that could melt rocks. If that alien got a clean angle on him, it would be trouble. Reynold couldn't let the plasma carrier survive long. He adjusted wind, fog, angle, distance. He fired. PFFF thump. The plasma rifle carrier fell sideways, weapon sliding from his grip. The commander gave up hiding. He stood in the open, roaring, "Show yourself, human." Reynold didn't answer, but the forest did. A bird flew up suddenly. A branch cracked. Something moved behind ferns. The alien spun around, firing plasma bolts everywhere, blindly, desperately. Reynold sighed. "Amateurs." Reynold moves up. He picked up his rifle and moved again. Every step was slow and smooth. He never broke a branch, never stepped on loud leaves. Years of mountain hunting had trained him well. He reached a higher point, a fallen tree bridging 2 rocks. From there, he had a perfect view of the commander and the last soldier. The commander clutched his energy spear, scanning left, right, up, down. His breathing was loud inside his helmet. The last soldier whispered, "Commander, will we die here?" The commander hesitated. Reynold saw it. That moment of doubt. That little crack in alien pride. He steadied the scope. He didn't shoot. Not yet. Human advantage. Reynold pulled out a small, old-style speaker from his pocket. A tiny device. He tossed it into the ferns below. The device landed softly and began to play a faint recording of a human voice. Reynold's own voice. "You should have left Earth alone." The alien spun toward the sound. Plasma bolts flew at the bushes. Reynold used their distraction. He aimed at the soldier's knee armor. PFFF thump. The alien collapsed, screaming. The commander roared in pain and anger. "Stop hiding. Face me," Reynold whispered. "You first." He aimed at the commander's weapon. He fired. The commander's energy spear shattered. The alien stared at the broken weapon in horror. For the first time, he understood something. He was not fighting an old human. He was fighting a legend. Reynold shifted the Cadex one last time. He lined up the commander in the center of his scope. He exhaled slowly. The forest held its breath. And the Cadex spoke once more. The Cadex CDX-50's last shot echoed through the forest like a deep whisper. Not loud, not violent, just final. The commander stumbled backward as the round grazed the side of his helmet, tearing off the targeting sensor. The metal piece flew into the dirt with a sharp clink. Sparks flashed across his visor. He wasn't dead, but he was exposed, frightened, shaking. He dropped to one knee, breathing hard. His armor lights blinked weakly, and the forest seemed to grow darker around him. Only two aliens remained now, the commander and the soldier whose knee armor had shattered from Reynold's last shot. The wounded soldier crawled toward a tree, crying out in pain. The commander grabbed him by the shoulder and hissed, "Quiet! Do not draw him here." But it was already too late. Reynold had moved again. High above them now, hidden between old branches and thick leaves, he lay flat like a creature made of moss and wood. His ghillie suit blended perfectly with the tree bark. Only the long, dark barrel of the Cadex stretched forward. Below him, the commander looked around wildly. "Human, if you want to kill me, show yourself." Reynold did not reply. This forest did enough speaking for him. The alien's desperation. The wounded soldier whispered, "Commander, we cannot win. Retreat, please." The commander clenched his jaw. "Retreat where? Our comms are dead. Our scanners are useless. He destroys every tool we rely on." He hit his helmet again, tried to force a signal out. Nothing but static. "Union Command will send scouts when we do not report," he muttered. Reynold heard every word through his small receiver. He narrowed his eyes. He could not let reinforcements come. He steadied the Cadex again, but he didn't fire. Not yet. He wanted them to move first. The forest holds its breath. A quiet breeze rustled the leaves above him. Small glowing insects drifted between the trees like floating sparks. The morning fog had almost lifted now, revealing the soft green patterns of the forest floor. From his high position, Reynold watched the two aliens closely. The commander lifted the wounded soldier and forced him to stand. "Move! We fall back to the canyon. We need high ground." Reynold smirked under his mask. High ground? He already claimed it. The two aliens limped between the trees, moving as quickly as they could. Reynold didn't move immediately. He waited for the right angle. Waiting was his true weapon. After 30 seconds, he slid quietly down the tree trunk, landing on soft moss without a sound. He followed them from a distance, his footsteps silent, his breathing steady, like an old wolf tracking injured prey. The canyon path. The canyon edge was sharp and narrow. Jagged rocks formed a thin walkway above a deep drop filled with mist. The aliens reached the edge, panting, armor flickering with warning signals. The commander turned around and shouted into the forest, "Human, this is your last chance. The Union will hunt you when they learn what you did here." Reynold stepped out from behind a large boulder 20 meters away, still partly hidden by shadow. The commander jerked in shock. You are just one human. How can you?" Reynold answered quietly, his voice calm and low. "Because you forgot what humans are." The commander raised his plasma pistol. Reynold didn't flinch. "The galaxy fears machines. You fear shields. You fear big technology." He lifted the Cadex slowly, leveling it at the commander. "But humans, we fear nothing but losing our freedom." The commander fired. A bright blue plasma shot zipped toward Reynold. Reynold rolled to the side with practiced ease, landing on one knee, the Cadex already lined up again. He fired. PFFF thump. The plasma pistol flew out of the commander's hand, shattered. The alien's eyes went wide. Reynold rose to his feet. "You came to take Earth's weapons," he said. "You mocked our old rifles. You mocked our age." He stepped closer. "You should have learned our history first." The final standoff. The wounded soldier tried to lift his rifle with shaking hands. Reynold didn't even aim at him. Instead, He aimed at the ground beside him and fired. The rock exploded, throwing dust into the alien's face. The soldier screamed and fell backward, sliding dangerously close to the canyon's edge. The commander turned to help him. Reynold shouted, "Move, and you die." The alien froze. Reynold stepped closer again, now only 10 meters away. The Cadex felt like part of his arm, steady and silent. "You think age makes a human weak?" Reynold asked. "Age is experience, and experience kills." The commander's voice trembled. "What do you want?" Reynold pointed to the sky. "To send a message." He fired one last shot, not at the soldiers but at the rock wall behind them. The explosion shook the narrow canyon walkway. The ground cracked. The stone beneath the alien commander split open. The commander grabbed the edge, screaming as he tried to pull himself up. Reynold stood over him. The commander gasped. "Humans are dangerous." Reynold gave a slow nod. "Now you understand." The alien slipped, falling into the mist below. The last soldier, terrified and injured, crawled away from the edge. He looked up at Reynold in fear. Reynold lowered his rifle. "Go back," Reynold said quietly. "Tell the Union what you saw here. Tell them Earth is not done fighting." The alien nodded rapidly. Tears of fear filled his eyes. He stumbled away, limping into the forest. Reynold watched him disappear. Extraction. Minutes later, a free Earth shuttle uncloaked above the trees. Its engines hummed softly as it landed. A young pilot jumped out, looking shocked at the battlefield. "Old man," the pilot said, "how many did you take down?" Reynold simply wiped the Cadex with a cloth. "Enough," he said. The pilot stared. "You did all this alone?" Reynold looked at the forest one last time. "No," he whispered. "The forest helped." The pilot blinked. "What message should we send to Earth Command?" Reynold slung the Cadex across his back and stepped into the shuttle. "Tell them," he said, "humans may grow old, but we never grow weak." The shuttle lifted off, leaving the silent forest behind. And the legend of the old human with the Cadex CDX-50 spread across the galaxy like a warning. Never underestimate a human.